2 weeks ago, Asus launched the Zenfone Max Pro M2, and like its predecessor, it has a huge 5000 mAh battery and now comes with beefier specs. So is it worth your money or worth upgrading from the previous model? I'm going to tell you more about it after using it for 2 weeks. The Zenfone Max Pro M2 comes with a 6.3-inch Full HD Plus LCD display, and so far I think the screen is great, big enough for gaming and video streaming and small enough to be held in my hand. Despite that it's not equipped with an OLED screen, the display still looks pretty good and is also bright enough, unlike some other phones that are still too dim even at their maximum brightness. The phone has a thick chin, but the side bezels are quite thin. Besides that, the Max Pro M2 is also using the newest Corning Gorilla Glass 6, which is more durable to falls and damages. It also has a notch now, unlike the Zenfone Max Pro M1. Though the notch is relatively small, I've realized something rather disturbing. The notch is protruding in most of the displays, where the notch extends beyond the notification shades, and the top part of the phone is cut off for games like PUBG or Asphalt 9. However, the phone encountered some problem when I restarted it, so I had to perform a factory data reset, and the notch was fine after that. Despite that the Max Pro M2 is holding a very big battery, the phone is actually very light, even lighter than my iPhone XR. Now the phone comes with this new shiny finish, but I wish the phone had more color options as the color I have right now is rather dull. The Max Pro M2 also supports Face Unlock and has a fingerprint sensor, but if you've watched my unboxing video, I've already mentioned that I prefer the fingerprint unlock because it's slightly faster than the Face Unlock. Apart from that, despite only having a single speaker, the speaker located at the bottom of the phone is quite loud when at its maximum, and it's definitely good enough for video and music playbacks. The Max Pro M2 also comes with a headphone jack, which is a relief for those who are always using their earphone, but at the same time it has a micro USB port, and I think it's about time Asus give it an upgrade. Now this model that I'm holding is powered by a Snapdragon 660 AIE processor and has 4GB RAM and 64GB of storage, but there's also a 6GB RAM with 64GB of storage variant for those who want it. I usually just go on social media and I'm only into light gaming, so it's actually sufficient for me. However, I did try to play PUBG just to see how the phone can perform, and I had a smooth gaming experience because there wasn't any lagging or choppy frames. I also didn't feel the phone overheating despite playing a few rounds consecutively, so that's definitely a plus for the Max Pro M2. In addition, there's expandable storage up to 2TB, which is great considering that 64GB will not be sufficient for those who love to download lots of games and keep their music files, photos and videos in their phone. Besides that, I also really like the fact that the phone is running on the stock Android 8.1 because I like how clean the UI is and how it's not filled with unnecessary apps once I got the phone. Of course, a phone UI is really depending on the user's preference, but personally I like things simple, so with the stock Android UI you can literally just have one home screen while all your apps are kept at the app drawer and arranged alphabetically, or you can just add another home screen just to keep the apps that you usually use, so other apps like contacts, calculator and FM radio can actually just be kept in your app drawer to reduce the clutter in your home screen. Besides that, you can actually disable the function to add icon to home screen for new apps. So if you like to keep your home screen clean and all your apps in your app drawer, you can disable that feature and new apps installed won't automatically appear on your home screen. With stock Android, the icons and labels are also very straightforward and basic, and though many might find it rather dull, I find it user-friendly and more efficient. That being said, you can always install third-party launchers like the Nova launcher that can offer detailed customization for you to customize your UI to your liking. The Max Pro M2 comes with a 12+5MP dual rear camera, and it houses a 30MP front camera. The front camera is able to capture selfies quite clearly, though it is a shame that it doesn't have the bokeh effect. However, the Max Pro M2 also has a soft LED flash at the front, and that's great for when your selfies need a little more lighting. That aside, the rear camera that can produce the bokeh effect is great as it can be adjusted in real time to however intense you want the background blur to be. One thing that I did not like about the camera though is the night mode. The night mode of this photo desaturates the pictures that are taken, and I'd rather use the auto mode to take the low light pictures instead. The night mode takes away the vibrancy of the pictures and results in dull, almost monotonous light pictures, which is definitely a turn off for many people. Even when compared to the HDR mode, I find that the auto mode produces the best color for the pictures taken. However, the HDR mode has its advantages when it comes to daylight pictures. When compared, the HDR mode actually shows the clouds clearly compared to the auto mode that overexposes some parts of the sky. That being said, the HDR mode can sometimes lead to pictures looking a bit washed out due to the increase in brightness when using the HDR mode to take photos. The battery of the Max Pro M2 is one of its highlights. The battery size of 5000 mAh is definitely remarkable, and when I'm not constantly gaming, the phone can actually last me up to 2 to 3 days. The battery is definitely worth applauding for because even after my normal usage and 10 rounds of PUBG, it is actually around 30% by the end of the day. For those who do play games like PUBG often, they might need to charge this phone daily, but for those who only game 2 to 3 rounds a day, I believe the Zenfone Max Pro M2 can definitely last you around 2 days before it needs to be recharged. In return for the 5000 mAh battery, it will of course take much longer to charge, almost 3 hours to be more specific, as the phone lacks quick charging. I'd usually just charge my phone before I sleep because I won't have time to wait for my phone to be fully charged during the day, especially if I'm going to places. The phone is also obvious when it has low battery as the top and the bottom part of the screen turns red, which works like a constant reminder to tell you that the phone needs to be charged. Now the question stands, is the Zenfone Max Pro M2 worth it? My answer is a definite yes because for the huge battery, screen size and 4GB of RAM, the phone is only 859 ringgit. For those who have been using the Zenfone Max Pro M1 and is looking for an upgrade, the Max Pro M2 is definitely worth it for its affordable price. That being said, it's an all-rounder phone for its price, but if you're someone into extensive gaming with excellent graphics or you're into smartphone photography and you're very particular about it, the Zenfone Max Pro M2 might be the phone that you'll have to skip. So that's my full review on the Zenfone Max Pro M2. If you already bought it, you can share your thoughts with me in the comment section down below. Remember to subscribe to our channel KLGadgetTV and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!